Hi guys, welcome back to another video with me, Christian Koivma. So today I'm actually starting out with revealing the date for my first digital watercolor course. And this course will be a part of a series, so there will be more courses later on. So what I want you to do is go and find your calendar, wherever it is. Write down the date, 18th of October 2021. History is in the making. Those of you guys that contacted me through emails will get a reply during this coming week with a link to the course. And the rest of you guys that want to attend as well and you haven't sent me an email, just make sure that you follow me on Instagram or here on YouTube, and I'll share those links with you guys as well. And there are even more exciting things happening because next week the Affordable Art Fair in Stockholm starts and I'm going to be there with my artwork together with a lot of other awesome contemporary artists. And my plan is to actually try to record and post here on YouTube so you guys can get inspired too. So make sure you don't miss my next video. This video will not be a painting video like most of my other videos. I like to call these kind of videos in between painting videos, and this is one of those. So today I'm going to share a few of my latest paintings that didn't make it to YouTube because I'm a busy guy. I like to paint a lot and not always do I record what I'm actually painting. So I want to share these with you, and maybe some of these will be in the fair as well. While I'm showing you these paintings, I will also talk a little bit about the process in making these and also my thoughts on each single painting. But before that, I want to give all of you ambitious watercolor artists out there a little bit of a challenge. So if you're up for it, the task is to try to make your own version as a watercolor, of course, of this photo reference right here. As you can see, the photo reference is not very sharp, and that is the challenge in its own. Sometimes it's really important to let the watercolor do what it wants to do. And if you can't have that much control, the painting a lot of times end up really well. So one way of doing this or practicing this way of painting is by using photos like this. If you want to participate in this challenge and if you want to share it with me and the rest of the world, just send me an email with your painting and I'll share it in my upcoming videos. In that video, I will also share my process of this exact same photo reference. Okay, let's take a look at my paintings now. So if you've been watching my latest YouTube videos, you've probably seen that I've been painting some bird paintings, and these 4 paintings didn't make it to YouTube. I really like painting birds in watercolor, and especially if I can do it in a kind of a loose style. And the technique I do is pretty much I try to focus on the bigger shapes and value, and I don't want to use too many layers. It's just try to keep it simple and not get stuck on too much detail. Okay, so let's take away these birds and see what's underneath. So this is actually my latest watercolor. It's a winter landscape, and the motif is from a photo reference that I took myself, and actually it's just around the corner from where I live. Well, the technique I use here, and obviously the most important thing in this painting is light. So I want to use light in the background, and the shades help to translate the light in a very effective way. I used a limited palette here, and I did not put too much time into doing each single detail. I let the paint do what it wants to do. You can see some blooming here as well, and that's created by using or adding more water to the pigment while it's drying. So this is a motif that I painted similar paintings before, a fall landscape with sharp contrasts, like with the tree here, and the background is kind of a fog atmosphere. And the background is created by painting wet and wet. So I pre-wet the paper and I add the pigment and let the pigment kind of travel into each other and do what it wants to do. The paint actually creates the magic by itself. And the birch tree is painted in the end, and I normally use masking tape just to preserve the white area of the paper, and then I paint the tree in the end. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. So this painting is painted out of a photo reference from the north of Sweden, and I didn't follow the photo reference 100%. I actually it was like a blue sky, but I added it made it kind of grayish instead to create a different mood. And what really inspired me with painting this was the contrast between the cool colors in the background and warmer colors in the foreground, like this. I kind of like painting watercolors like this. And this is on a pretty big sheet of paper. It's 107 centimeters wide, and I think it's about 75 centimeters high. And I try to paint it fast and not get stuck on too much detail here either. So probably a month ago or 2 months ago, I traveled to the Swedish west coast, took a lot of pictures, and this painting is a result of one of those photos. I got really inspired by the light and the value changes in this motif, and I had a great time painting it. Also, I was intrigued to try to create this water here in the front, because normally when you paint water, or at least as a beginner, you think water is only being blue, but actually you have water in the back here, but this is also water, and water has the color that it reflects, and in this case it's not blue at all. So that was kind of a challenge for myself and something that inspired me. As far as technique goes, and if I want to say something about painting the rocks here, you can see the sharp edges like this, and it's painted with negative painting, so I didn't use any masking fluid or anything like that. I just painted around the areas that I wanted to keep a lighter value and added a lot of pigment to the darker areas. Some of the darker areas I painted with a few layers of paint. So, if you've been following me for a while, you probably noticed that I like to paint Northern Light paintings as well, and this is another one. So while painting this one, I really wanted to create interest for the little house here in the front, and by adding some light into the windows, I think I did a pretty good job. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. The light in the house kind of at least tickles my imagination a little bit what happens in there. I also added some shadows to the facade to make it pop a little bit and come out a little bit more and create a little bit more interest as a focal point. And technically, as far as the sky in the background and the northern light, it's just painting wet and wet, adding these lighter colors and let them mingle with the darker paint. And yeah, the paint just runs into each other and the magic happens almost all by itself. So this next painting is painted off of a photo reference that I took from Gothenburg. It's one of the bigger cities in Sweden. The motif is from, you could probably say it's the main street of Gothenburg. I've been struggling with this painting for quite some time, and I don't know, I've been having trouble getting it to work together, kind of. For a while there, I was spending too much time on details, and I kind of felt like I wasn't happy with how all the details interacted with each other. So I've been making changes and then trying something else and adding new layers of paint. But I think at this point I might be done. And if I'm done, I'll probably bring this one to the Affordable Art Fair in Stockholm next week. And this painting is painted from a photo reference I took from Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. And here in the background you can see the royal castle. So if you've been to Stockholm ever, you've probably been around this area, probably walked the streets back here. This is also a painting that I put a lot of time into, painting details, and not being that happy in the end. So I've been doing a lot of fixing problems, you could say. But at this point, I think I'm pretty happy with it. It's kind of tricky painting these bigger watercolors because it's almost like a different sport than painting smaller watercolors. There's a lot of things that are more challenging when you're painting a bigger painting like this. What I do like about this painting is because I want to have the focal point around this boat here and the castle, but I don't want to put too much details on the castle. I just want to create the sense of where the location is, and that's it. And I think I did an okay job there. As far as technique goes, I started with the sky, like I normally do on these bigger paintings, painting wet and wet, and then adding layers of paint and let them dry in between. And towards the end, I put more time into details and added paint on dry paper, like this boat here in the foreground, for example. And this is my final painting I will be showing you. And this motif is also from Gothenburg. And obviously I was inspired by the light, because I took this pretty late at night with the sunset and the exciting light here, but also the majestic bridge crossing the water. I wanted to translate this bridge as being really, really big, and exactly the feeling that you get when you're standing there. This painting was really a lot of fun to paint. And as you can see, I mean, there's a lot of details in the photo reference that I took that could be added here, but I decided not to. I wanted to keep the loose style, and you can sense of some buildings and so on, and some light in the background, but that's it. I wanted to keep it pretty simple. So that's it for now, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. And the next video will probably be some content from the Affordable Art Fair. So I'm excited sharing awesome art with you in the next one. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and until I see you next time, bye bye.